Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I am standing in the room that I was shot in, okay? And so we're at the crime scene is what I am. I had this morning when I woke up on Facebook, I saw a message asking me what happened and, where were you shot? And so this is somebody that obviously hasn't seen the videos and because I made 1,000 videos showing everything in the world, imagine all kinds of evidence. But I just wanted to do a short story for people that don't know. There's a lot of new people that are just finding out about what's going on here, thanks to the censorship, the cover up to try to cover up for the crimes and murders, and so they're just finding out. And a lot of that was because of that video a week ago that was sent to me of a home here in Midland on Pecos Street where a person was doing a what's called a slab leak. They had a leak underneath the concrete slab of their home. They busted the concrete out, and there was a tunnel under there, man-made tunnel. I mean, it was huge. It's incredible. And so they sent that to me. I posted it. It's had 7,500 views in about 5 days, and it went viral. Of course, our press, as always, has been hiding this story from the public. That's the only way they can keep on killing people inside their home and destroying the lives of innocent Christian people. I mean, that's it. There's one of our biggest problems is our press is involved in this organized crime and the cover up of these violent crimes and these violent criminals. Okay? And so, anyways, I'm back in the room, and I'm going to show you here. It's like what happened. I did a short write-up. I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna read that to you, and I got some evidence and the older pictures on there, which are important because this is new. I was shot in 2012, and so things have changed in here. But I want to show you what it looks like now in this room, how small this little bitty room is. Okay, at the time I had burglar alarms going off in the attic. Okay, and I had reported my first felony burglary 14 months before that. I'd called the police multiple times over break-ins to my house, okay, and with people in the attic. And then when I was shot, I had burglar alarms called in the attic. As a lot of people know, now I've documented homeowners all over the country reporting people in the attic. A dozen addresses in Midland, another dozen in Odessa. That's the tip of the iceberg. It's going on all over the place. I believe all of these homes are rigged with a tunnel under the home, like we saw. That's probably coming from a nearby neighbor's house or whatever, and that allows them to go down, come over, and come into a home, and and then they can use the home for free room and board or whatever they want, spying and prostitution tricks or whatever crimes they want to commit. It's burglary, theft, murder, racketeering, organized crime. Okay. And obviously, we have a significant police corruption problem. 11 police got caught on camera. It took 6 years, a $2,000 reward to get them identified. They didn't hide like coward criminals because they're good, upstanding citizens, right? These are dirty cops involved in a very violent crime against an innocent person. That's why they hid, okay? I mean, that's all there is to it. And they should have been arrested a long time ago. These crimes should have been over. It's believed this is connected to multiple murders because the guy that lived here in this home died right before I moved here, the week before the 2008 oil show started. And then I was told about a young girl murdered at a 2010 oil show party that I believe happened in the underground home in the backyard. I'm going to show you all that in a minute. Okay, so anyway, burglar alarms going off the attic. I'm coming through my house that night. Here's this tiny little room. I'll show you how small this room is, okay? Utility room, my washer and dryer in here. That's how small this room is, okay? It's like 8 foot by 9 foot, And of course, these corrupt, dirty police are saying I shot myself with my own gun. That's a total lie. The evidence shows that's not what happened. The shot came from under this cabinet. The ex-wife had already told me there was a trap door in this house, but she didn't tell me where it was at. And interestingly, inside this little tiny room one day, she says, "What's different about this room?" And so I'm going, well, half the ceiling is, been retextured for some unknown weird reason. I point that out, and I point out how the tile is not done correctly. It's not run all over to the wall. This cabinet wasn't put together right, but that wasn't the answer. The answer was This cabinet had a hidden trap door underneath it, okay? And of course, there's nobody would ever realize or know that. I'm gonna show you some pictures of that in a minute. And this here is a replacement cabinet because I pulled the original out after I shot doing, investigation. But it was one that looked similar to this. But the original cabinet in here was missing the door, it was missing the shelf, it was missing the kickboard, it was missing parts. But I just moved in here, it was as is. How would I know what happened? Nobody would ever suspect that there's a tunnel under there that leads down to $1 million underground homes that was put in for George H.W. Bush in 1987 for $7.35 million. It was used for oil show parties, and it's where a little girl was murdered in 2010. Nobody would expect that. Nobody would, right? And but now we know that's where it is. And so that trapdoor is not here no more, okay? And obviously that was covered up while I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital 10 days, and it's believed it was between the two police entries because they tried to hide the first entry. Remember, they attempted to disable the camera and accidentally caught themselves on camera, right? And that's when they were staging the crime scene, planting my stolen cell phone and all that, And then they come in the second time, oh, buddy's crazy and all that, They planted evidence and all that. It's a con job. This was premeditated, cold-blooded murder. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. So anyway, this room, after I fell to the ground, I had the cordless phone in my pocket. I had a shirt like this, so it was in this pocket right here. And I go to call for help, and it's dead. My phone's dead. The only reason I had my cordless phone is because my cell phone had gone missing a few hours earlier. They had stolen my cell phone. So they had stolen my cell phone, cut my home phone lines before shooting me. This was premeditated, cold-blooded murder. I was supposed to bleed out and die. They were supposed to they were going to call this an accident, and it was going to turn around and give this house, this very special home with the underground home in the backyard, to my ex-wife that I'd filed divorce on 5 days later. That come to find out was the lifelong childhood friend of the detective that ruled this failed murder and accident, Rosie Rodriguez. I didn't know that for 2 years, And there's more to that story. Rosie met me at the 7-Eleven when I crawled out, and and I thought the cavalry was there. I thought finally the crimes are going to finally be stopped. The police are here. I've been reporting these crimes at my house, not even realizing that the police were involved in the crimes. And then come to find out, Rosie Rodriguez said she wasn't even there. Okay, and keep in mind, that was the lifelong friend of the ex-wife, and the ex-wife is now alleged to be involved in the shooting. Her former boyfriend, Arthur Welch, contacted me and says, do you think I was dating her? Do you think she had anything to do with it? And I said, I think she's in Lubbock at the time. And he says, well, I think she had a lot to do with it from the things I heard her say, and she threatened to have me killed too. I have a print screen of him saying that. It got read in court. That's a court document now. Okay, and then 8 years later, he posted on his Facebook that he overheard her talking to her corrupt police friends planning my murder to steal life insurance. She was going to get an extra $500,000 when her friend Rosie Rodriguez ruled my murder an accident. Okay, and so anyway, that's a little additional information. Anyway, I crawled out. I had no communications. Called the other side of the house. I couldn't get enough phones over there, so I crawled out the front door. As I'm crawling out, I screamed for help. You see the lights on my company car go off. I'm going to show you a picture of that here in a minute. I mean, somebody was sitting in my car is what I believe, and they were waiting on me to die, I think. They were waiting on me to die so they could come into my home and free the trapped burglar, because it's now known that I had trapped a burglar in my guest bathroom on the other side of the house earlier that day. I'd come home, recognized that somebody had been inside my house. There was a burglary, a felony going on, another one. I've been reporting them for 14 months. I tie-wired my spare door shut to compartmentalize my home and unknowingly trapped one of these criminals in that bathroom. So it's a dire situation for them. They're trapped in there in that bathroom. Here they got a dozen dirty cops that steal evidence, lie, and help murder people in cold blood, and the press helping them cover it up and hide it from the public. Tunnels, underground facilities, all this piece of tie wire, and they're trapped in that bathroom. And I have every right to protect my life and property, just like you do. This is my home. I'm home minding my own business. These killers loaded their guns and came to my home to murder me. Okay, I mean, that's what happened. Okay. And so I'm going to show you that, and we'll go back in the other side of the house. Okay, I'm back here at my computer, and this will be on the evidence side. And this is what I was telling you this morning. I got this message on my Facebook from Brandy Lavario that says, where were you shot at in your house? That's why I went back there and showed you. It says, where did the killer come from? Like, which way were you sitting down, walking? What happened? Okay, so this is, like I said, this is somebody that doesn't know the story. This is a brand new person that saw the tunnel video, and they're going, what happened? And that's why I named this What Happened. Okay, so I have a short write-up, and there's a lot more to the story, but you know, I tried to keep it relatively short. I said, Brandy, I said, the evidence definitively shows that somebody hiding under the cabinet in my small utility room shot me while I was walking by. At the time, I had burglar alarms going off in my attic over and over, so I knew that I was under a home invasion, but I didn't realize they were under my home. Okay. The person that shot me was in no danger whatsoever, as this was cold-blooded, premeditated murder, and God saved my life. I copied and pasted that down here in the bottom. Same thing I just read to you right here. And then I added a picture. This picture is the original cabinet was in the room that I was in. Remember, we were just in that room, and I told you that the door was missing, the kickboard was missing, the shelf was missing. Here's this weird cabinet that was never put together right, okay? That was in the room where the ex-wife had asked me, what's different about this room, right? That's the room we know where the trap door was at and from where the shot come from, okay? And so how do we know the shot came from there? I mean, other than this is Buddy's theory, this is what you think. No, if proof shows I wasn't shot with my gun, then we know somebody else shot me. Can everybody agree to that? And multiple people saying tunnels and underground homes are here, along with evidences like Google Maps showing a large building in my backyard, right? There's just a ton of evidence here showing that that shot came from under that cabinet right there. That's where the shot came from, okay? I'm pointing it out here in this picture where the shot came from in there. There absolutely 100% is no doubt, and that means there's 100% absolutely no doubt this was premeditated, cold-blooded murder. I didn't even know they were there. They came to my home to kill me, okay? And so that's what we're dealing with, is cold-blooded killers in Midland, Texas. Proof showing that I wasn't shot with my gun is proof that somebody under my home shot me, and now there's multiple people documenting saying that tunnels, underground homes are here, along with Google Maps showing a large building in my backyard which can't be seen from above ground. There is no doubt that somebody under my home shot me. Now, I'm not doing every piece of evidence, but you know, one of them was I secretly recorded a guy running for sheriff of Midland County telling me our last sheriff used to hang out in the underground homes here. Okay, that's pretty big evidence, and that's only one of many. Okay, and so I've got just a list here of absolute and undeniable proof showing that I wasn't shot with my gun. And as I said, if I wasn't shot with my gun, then we know somebody else shot me and it come from under that cabinet. So these proofs that I have, and I posted. They're posted in the public. Size of pellets in my foot were 2.5 sizes different than my gun. Ballistic evidence proves I wasn't shot with my gun. Doctor said he removed a large amount of plastic from my foot, which wouldn't be there if I'd shot myself. Can we all agree with that, right? Lisa Rogers documented telling me that I was shot with a .45 handgun. Keep in mind, those corrupt police said I was shot with my 12-gauge shotgun. Okay. CSI checked in live shells from my gun, but not any empty shells that would have been there if I'd shot myself. Anybody that knows anything about guns would know that live shell would have been inside my gun, and the crime scene investigator would have checked in an empty shell, and the crime scene investigator didn't, because I wasn't shot with my gun. Reported burglar alarms going on in my attic, and now homeowners all over have reported people in the attic. And many of y'all have heard the video of the police scanner calls where a homeowner reports people in the attic at this address, at that address, at this address, at that address. I mean, these, that's not Buddy said. That's recorded from my police scanner, okay? It says, shot with burglar alarms going in the attic, that was recorded on a stolen voice recorder. And remember, Sergeant Matt Davis come back later, says, Buddy, I stole the evidence and nobody's going to find out. There's more videos proof on that. 11 police accidentally started a camera and caught themselves staging the crime scene. As I said a minute ago, they didn't hide like coward criminals because these are good people. These are not good people. This was a cold-blooded murder, pre-planned, premeditated, okay? They hid because they got caught with their hand in the murder of the homeowner cookie jar. That's why. Police, as I said, Matt Davis missed the stolen evidence. 5 police were at or inside my home when they were not seen arriving on security cameras. That's highly important because that proved they were under my home. Secret police remained secret for 6 years with a reward offer for their identity. Multiple people documented saying that tunnels and underground homes are here. Google Maps showing a large building in my backyard that can't be seen from above ground. Concrete poured 2 weeks after I showed the Department of Homeland Security where I believed a tunnel was located. Proof of my x-rays being faked, okay? At the hospital, proof of security cameras being faked. In the attic, okay? Proof of the press hiding huge stories from the public. There is so much evidence here, it's to the point of absurdity. I mean, they are literally to the point of, we will come to your home, murder you, steal your home and your life insurance, and what are you going to do about it? Are you going to call the press? Ha ha ha. You think they're going to tell the public? Ha ha ha. You see, they're killing people, and not just me, they're killing one homeowner after another. It's also known that I unknowingly trapped a burglar in my guest bathroom a few hours earlier when I tie-wired my spare door shut after recognizing that somebody had been inside my home once again. I had been reporting these repeated felonies to the police for over 14 months prior to the murder attempt. This may have been a motive for murder, but keep in mind they could have called the police and had that criminal arrested, except that would expose the tunnels, the underground homes, and the many other crimes in homes rigged like this one and other murders they're involved in. This picture is taken from my guest bathroom. I had tie-wired them doors shut because I recognized somebody in my house. When I returned from the hospital, I found these pry marks on top of the door, okay? Them pry marks told me that somebody had been trapped in that room. That was one of the rooms that I had tie-wired shut. Also, the hinge was torn off. I mean, they violently tore this door off and, trying to get out of this room. So what had happened was I unknowingly trapped a burglar, recognizing that I was under a home invasion felony, right? And so it was a dire situation for these criminals that are rigging homes and murdering homeowners because they were fixing to get busted, and then that might have been their motive to try to murder me, okay? And interestingly, this picture right here, I was at the FBI office and I was telling them my story, and the FBI is supposed to investigate allegations of corruption, police corruption. But that FBI agent pulled up this picture on his phone, and I didn't even tell him where it was at about it or nothing. He already knew about it, and it was real clear to me that what was going on there is he was trying to cover up these capital murders. And I think maybe he's friends with these dirty cops, that are probably looking at life in prison or maybe even the death penalty, I mean, literally, if they murdered the guy before me and they're killing one homeowner after another, they could get the death penalty. And I think this FBI agent, that's what he's trying to protect his police friends here, but he knew that this burglar was trapped in this bathroom. I have a video called During the Commission of a Felony, because the felony was the burglary of a habitation, and instead of turning themselves in, they tried to murder themselves way out of it, okay? But I fully believe that FBI agent, he knew what was going on here. He knew this was a premeditated murder, attempted murder that the police were involved in. A few hours earlier, my cell phone was stolen, so I had my cordless phone in my pocket of my shirt. I wouldn't normally carry this large phone on me, except I was under a home invasion. After I fell to the ground, I tried to call for help and found that I didn't have a dial tone. They had disconnected my home phone lines too. Once again, this was premeditated, cold-blooded murder. Interestingly, Charles Manson and his gang disconnected the phone lines to Sharon Tate's home before they murdered her and that group of people. They took a page out of the Charles Manson playbook. These are killers. That's what I'm saying. This is one of the proof pictures that I decided to post. It was one of the secret police pictures from my bedroom security camera that the police had tried to disable. And it looked like all the other police had left my bedroom, and Rosie Rodriguez and April Chandler waited for them other police, based on the timestamps, to leave my bedroom. And then they planted my stolen cell phone behind my nightstand beside my bed. See, Rosie Rodriguez leaned over, and that's where my stolen cell phone was planted. Remember, my cell phone was stolen, my home phone lines were disconnected before they shot me by surprise. Standing next to Rodriguez was April Chandler, okay? And then I saw in the police reports where Rosie Rodriguez made up a lie and posted it on the police reports, and she said
Buddy advised that he makes sure all his doors and windows are locked to go into bed. But he said his phone was not charged, so he went outside and screamed for help. That was a bold-faced lie by Rosie Rodriguez, Detective Rosie Rodriguez. And obviously she made up that lie because she knew they stole my cell phone. Because the truth is, I had a fully charged cordless phone in my pocket, and it didn't work because the phone lines were cut to the home. Okay, but she says that I told her my phone wasn't charged. That's a lie. That was excuse making. Okay, and here she is caught planting my stolen cell phone behind the nightstand. I then crawled to the other side of my home to try and call from there, but that didn't work, so I decided to crawl out to get help. I screamed help as loud as I could right after I shot, and I screamed help the second time while I was outside, but no neighbors came to help me. I would later notice the headlights on my company car sitting in the driveway were on when I crawled out, and they were turned off when I screamed for help. I suspected that somebody was sitting in my car who heard me scream, and they were waiting for me to die so they could go free the trap burglar. Okay, and I'm going to show you this video here. Let's full screen this thing. There's me crawling out. Okay, let me rewind it. Okay, headlights on my car. White car. See, they're on? Off. See them go off? I screamed for help, and whoever's sitting in my car turned it off. Now, my company car, we had a policy that when you turn the engine on, it automatically turned the headlights on. Okay, so anytime you turn the engine on, I'm suspecting that whoever's sitting in the car had the engine running because it was cold that night, very cold January night, and then they heard me scream. They were waiting for me to die. They were waiting for their friends to murder me, and so they could go free the trap burglar. Okay, and then they heard me scream for help, and they said, "Oh no!" and they turned the car off real quick, and they killed the lights. I pulled myself into the truck next to it and drove away, not even knowing they were sitting there in the car next to me. Okay? I drove to 7-Eleven and asked for somebody to call 911, and MPD Detective Rosie Rodriguez climbed in my truck and starts giving me first aid. I would later see where she stated on the police reports that she wasn't even at the 7-Eleven, and April Chandler lied and said she was in my truck. They were both involved in falsifying police reports and tampering with evidence in this premeditated capital attempted murder. Possibly one of them was the shooter. These are some more of the security camera pictures. I want to show you there's no way you can accidentally get these two confused. This is a bleached blonde. April Chandler is a bleached blonde, and this is a Hispanic woman, okay? And so you can tell by looking at Rosie Rodriguez and April Chandler that I 100% absolutely know for a fact Rodriguez is the one that climbed in my truck at the 7-Eleven and then said she wasn't there. And Chandler lied and said she was the one that climbed in my truck. I found out 2 years later that Rodriguez was a lifelong friend of the ex-wife that's alleged to be involved in the shooting, right? Who said that she's working with her police friends to murder me and steal life insurance. Okay. I drove to the 7-Eleven and I asked for somebody, or I just did that one. The security camera showed Martin County Sheriff John Woodward and late Midland County Deputy Naylor arriving 19 minutes later when they were not dispatched. That was after I left. It took 6 years and a $2,000 reward to get them identified and the other 9 secret police. The police report for this night was subpoenaed in 2013, but illegally withheld by the police, so I didn't see it until 7 years later. I mean, it is they're breaking one law after another law after another law. It's absolute lawlessness to murder innocent people in their homes, Christians inside their homes. The report time-stamped Lieutenant Dickey inside my home 4 minutes after Woodward and Naylor were seen, but he was not seen arriving. In fact, there were 5 police officers listed as being at or in my home that were not seen arriving, and they were Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale. All of my other doors were secured with extra locks, as noted on the police reports, so this is what proved that Dickey had entered my home from the now removed trap door from where I had been shot. I suspect he let out the trap burglar in the bathroom. The ex-wife had already told me there was a trap door here, but I didn't know where it was at. Okay, so there was the proof between the security cameras and the police report. Now, keep in mind, it took 7 years before I got the police report because they illegally withheld it. They illegally withheld it because it was proof of a premeditated capital attempted murder. It placed police under my home, and somebody under my home tried to murder me. Okay, and so I'm just sitting here going, here's fact. Police report shows Matt Davis on scene at 11:03. Tony Dickey is inside my home 11:05, but not seen arriving on the security cameras. Now, Woodward and Naylor were seen arriving 4 minutes earlier. Okay, Chadwell on scene 11:18. Kenny Angel on scene 11:18. Dylan Hell on scene 11:19. None of them seen arriving. They need to be sit down in a room with handcuffs on them and start asking them some questions before they're charged with capital attempted murder. That's exactly what needs to happen. Here's the police report that I'm showing there, what I just said there, and I've showed the timestamp security camera pictures. There is no doubt the scariest thing in the world. I said it the other day. You know what's scarier than one dirty cop involved in a premeditated murder? It's 11 of them, and that's what's going on here. And then they got other people helping them. Obviously, this trap door was covered up while I was in the hospital. The ex-wife later told me in so many words that a lot of people were here when I shot, so I suspect some kind of party was going on in the underground home in the backyard when I trapped that burglar. I call those people the murder party, since they were at my home with the killers when I was shot. This means they were all witnesses or accomplices, okay, to this premeditated, cold-blooded murder. Okay, now I'm going to show, this is a Google Earth map. Okay, I want to show you here, and this I showed to Homeland Security, posted many times. You could tell, here's a Home Depot store, and you could see where the ground was cut behind Home Depot, aimed directly at my home here. Okay, I believe a tunnel is located right here. Okay, and so I believe the people going to the oil show parties, they were parking the Home Depot parking lot, going underground there, using this tunnel coming here, and in my backyard was one of the 4 underground homes. Okay, and we've seen that. Here it is right here. I'm showing you. Just go to Google Maps, look at my address, 3802 Fair Circle. It shows a large building in my backyard that can't be seen from above ground. I believe that's one of the 4 underground homes that was put in 1987 for George H.W. Bush, budget $7.35 million. That's where the oil show party is going. That's where the little girl was murdered in 2010. And that's where a lot of people were at on the night that they tried to murder me. And then I have this list of this proof list. Okay, I got a phone call, woman telling me there's 4 3-bedroom homes here. Ricky Ronaldo saying him and his brother used to go in the tunnels here. I got a screenshot of it. Layla O'Brien saying she worked on this job. It's put in for bushes. Another phone call. Sheriff Kennedy Joe Lozano said Painter used to hide out in the underground homes here. The police report and the cameras prove that Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale came in from the underground home. Angie had told me about a girl who was murdered at an oil show party that was 5 minutes from my home. Google Maps showing a large bunker in my backyard. There's the video of concrete being poured behind the Home Depot store where I just showed Homeland where that tunnel was at, where the human trafficking murder tunnel was at. Lance Eggleston, he's documented saying, buddy, we have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if but when. Do you think Lance knows? Sure he does. That's a direct death threat. And the last one here, okay, we all know that if one or more people break into the home and one of them shoots the owner, then all of the party are charged. This is called the law of parties. Go look it up. That means that large amount of people that were here could go to prison for life if they continue to try and cover up this premeditated murder attempt. There is no statute of limitations. The irony is that I have been reporting crimes to the police who were involved in committing the crimes. It seems clear to me they murdered the guy that lived here before me, okay? And the one I did here, I just got off, Google here on the law of parties right here. And it was kind of funny, I thought, because here's a headline, but I didn't do anything, because that's what you often see, the person that didn't pull the trigger, or all the people that were in the underground home in the backyard, they're like, I didn't do anything. I didn't pull the trigger. No, but you were with the people that did. You chose to break into a private residence, and y'all are all together charged. That's why all of you will go down for this capital murder unless you go start telling people that you were not involved and start naming the people that were involved in this premeditated, cold-blooded murder. Remember, they killed the guy who lived there before me. I'll show you one last thing and I'm done. I'm going to walk out of my bedroom here. This is the bathroom. I tie-wired before I was shot, okay? And I'm going to step inside here. pry marks at the top of the door. That's what I found. And then the hinges torn off the side. There was absolutely no doubt there was a burglar trapped in this room prior to me being shot. That might have been the motive for murder. But I tell you what, because you're during the commission of a felony, which is burglary of a habitation, that were breaking in my home and trying to murder somebody, there's not excuse. And so we need to make arrests before they kill more people. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.